Kendi's anti-racism has the chokehold on the realm of ideas. And that's not healthy. That's not healthy for academia. It's not healthy in our churches when we baptize it and say,
yes,
this is the model that we have to adopt. How do we begin to think about putting forward an alternative model for race? You know, let's look at Martin Luther King's model for race. Let's look at a biblical model for race. And then we came across this work that Monique mentioned earlier, and I'm going to put up the paper. They linked to this through a Twitter account called Free Black Thought, which is a wonderful Twitter account. And it's a work done by a gal named Dr. Sheena Mason, and it's called A Theory of Racelessness, a case for anti-racism. To eliminate racism, we must eliminate race. And this came out in December. And so we want to commend this to you. I'll put it in the chat. But this is basically an attempt by this scholar to put forward an alternative model of race in the public square. As far as I can tell, I don't know if she's a Christian. There's nothing particularly religious that I've ever seen in her content of what she's shared, but this is along the lines of what I have in mind of we need a competition of ideas. We need a competition of other race models, because right now critical race theory or Kendi's anti-racism has the chokehold on the realm of ideas. And that's not healthy. That's not healthy for academia. It's not healthy in our churches when we baptize it and say,
yes,
this is the model that we have to adopt.
Yes.
And so now with all that set up, maybe you want to talk about what her project is.
Well, her project really is the deconstruction of the social construct of race, and saying that race has always been, one, been a social construct, and two, it's always been used to create these social hierarchies. Now, when we say that we want to eliminate the social hierarchies, well, how do we eliminate the social hierarchies without eliminating the construct of race that keeps the hierarchies in play? And so what we can't do is say, well, we need to be anti-racist and yet use race as our foundation for being anti-racist. That makes no sense.
Because we would say that there is this aspect that we agree with, like one of the points of common ground, we do this in our Great Awakening talk, that we might have with people who advocate for critical race theory is, yes, race is a social construct. And another way of saying that is it's a fiction that all of us just sort of silently agree to participate in.
Yeah, it's kind of made up.
It's this idea of racial hierarchies that we have assigned,
lighter skin better than darker skin.
Yeah, and so
like the hierarchy of
that's just
tones.
Made up. That's just pretend. That's a social fiction that we all just, for whatever reason, participate in. So our question is what if we played it all the way out to the end? Okay. Race is a social construct. It's a fiction, public fiction that we all participate in. Okay. What if we're just human and race isn't actually something we should focus on? How do we play that all the way out?
Well, I think that
which seems to be this gal, Dr. Mason, Sheena Mason's project. That seems to be the point that she's putting forward.
Yes, which I have not always been a fan of. I remember us having this conversation early on and being like, well, if race isn't real, why do we use race? Why do we use the term race or participate in the social construct? And a lot of my thought behind that was, well, this is what we're given. And we're dealing with issues based on skin color. And so we need to be using these constructs to get rid of the issues. But now that I think about it, more, I think that actually isn't true. There's a way in which we can eliminate the social construct and yet still address issues that could be based on skin color. Because sorry that I didn't make my bed this morning, and she just we are not officially all the way into the CFBU headquarters in our office. She can't be having me on blast like that. So there has to be a way, and I believe that there is a way that we can eliminate the conversation or this construct, not a conversation, but the construct of race, and still be able to have conversations about discrimination and things like that, because the foundation is that we are all human. Now, I think that the idea of racelessness and a common humanity would actually bring us more together than this theory of race or this construct of race, which just by the construct itself, we are put into our own groups. We are automatically segregated and separated out.
Which is kind of more the critical race theory approach of, well, yes, race is a social construct, but we need to divide people according to their racial groups. And that becomes what's essential about that person.
Well, it's assumed that because we do bear these different skin colors, that we automatically participate in certain ways. So you are automatically racist. You automatically participate in racism. I am automatically a victim. And now how do we address these things?
Mm-hmm. So, but then the idea of racelessness, and our friend who follows the ministry, what is his name? Carlin?
Uh-huh. He's another one.
He has this idea. He has a ministry called Erase Race.
Uh-huh.
And this is also similar to an idea that he's put forward, and he jumps on here every so often on a family meeting. But, it's this idea of, no, we're going to, if race really is a social construct, we're going to play that all the way out and focus on our common humanity first and not make race the essential part of our identity, as the first thing.